Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the chapter of Tayammum from the Hanafi Fiqh book Mukhtasar Ul Qudoori of Imam Qudoori rahimahullah. Babu Tayammum. The chapter of Tayammum. Tayammum means to intend. Tayammum means to intend, qasd. And Tayammum is placing your hands on a substance from the earth, something from the genus of the earth, and with the intention of attaining tahara, wiping your faces, and then placing your hands again upon that substance and wiping both hands from the fingertips all the way up, including the elbows. Okay. And we learn about the permissibility of tayammum from the verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِن كُنْتُم مَّرْضَىٰ أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. If you are sick, ill, أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ, or if you are on a journey, أَوْ جَاءَ مِنْكُمْ أَوْ جَاءَ أَحَدٌ مِنْكُمْ مِنَ الْغَائِطِ, or if one of you comes after answering the call of nature, meaning after urinating, أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ, or if you have intercourse with your women, فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً, and you do not find water, فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا, then perform tayammum with pure soil, pure earth. Okay, so perform tayammum with pure earth. فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ مِنْهُ, and wipe your faces and hands. Okay, so the author states, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدِ الْمَاءَ وَهُوَ مُسَافِرٌ. Whoever does not find water whilst he is a musafir, a traveler, أو خارج المصر, or out of the city, بينه وبين المصر نحو الميل أو أكثر, between him and between the city is the distance of a mile or more. So the author begins by mentioning those conditions that validate tayammum. Okay, so the first condition is that one, he doesn't have access to water. Okay, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدِ الْمَاءَ, and whoever does not find water whilst he is a musafir, وَهُوَ musafir. Musafir is he, a traveler is he who leaves his city and he has the intention of traveling for 57.5 miles or more after leaving the boundary of his city. He is a traveler musafir. So if the traveler does not find water, أو خارج المصر, or the one out of his city, the one who is out of his city, بينه وبين المصر نحو الميل أو أكثر, between him and between the city is the distance of a mile or more. Okay, so anyone who is a mile or more away from where the water can be attained is allowed to perform tayammum, even if he is a musafir, traveler, or out of his city. If he is a mile or more away from the water, where the water can be attained, he can perform tayammum. The second scenario is of that person who has water, who is near the water, أو كان يجد الماء إلا أنه مريض, or he finds water, okay, except that he is marid, he is sick. He finds water but he is sick. أو كان يجد الماء إلا أنه مريض, he finds water but he is sick. فخاف, and he fears, إن استعمل الماء, if he uses the water, اشتد مرضه, his illness will increase. So this person, he fears that if he uses the water to perform wudu, his illness will increase. أو خاف الجنوب, or if the one who is in the state of janaba, the one upon whom ghusl is fard, the major bath, if he fears, أو خاف الجنوب, if the Jumbi person fears, the one in the state of janaba, in ightasala bil ma'i, if he performs ghusl with the water, bil ma'i yaqtuluhu al bardu, the cold will kill him. أو يمرضه, or will make him sick. فإنه يتيمم بالصعيد, then he will perform tayammum with pure soil, with soil. بالصعيد الطاهر, with pure soil. So the second scenario is of that person who has water available near him, but he fears that if he uses the water, he has water available, but he is sick, and he fears if he performs wudu, his illness will increase. Okay, his illness will increase, or maybe the doctor advised him not to use water to perform wudu, otherwise it might harm your health. So even in this situation, he can perform tayammum. Okay, or he is sick and the water available is very cold, and there's no means, he has no means to warm that water. He can perform tayammum. فَخَافَ إِنِ اسْتَعْمَلَ الْمَاءَ اشْتَدَّ مَرَضُهُ, or he fears that his illness will increase if he uses the water to perform wudu. Or the jumbi person, the one in the state of janaba, he fears that the water will kill him. He's not ill, but the water available is so cold that he fears if he does ghusl with this water, he will die. Or yumriduhu, or he will become sick. He will not die, but he will become sick. And he has no means of warming the water, and there's no one nearby him who can borrow him water. In this situation, he can perform tayammum. So there's no water nearby, the distance boundary of the 1 mile, and the water available is so cold that he fears it will kill him or make him sick. In this situation, he can perform tayammum. فَإِنَّهُ يَتَيَمَّمُ بِالصَّعِيدِ الطَّاهِرِ, then he will perform tayammum with pure soil. Here the author mentions the method of performing tayammum. He says, وَالتَّيَمُّمُ ضَرْبَتَانِ, tayammum is ضربتان, 2 strikes. Tayammum is 2 strikes. يَمْسَحُ بِإِحْدَاهُمَا وَجْهَهُ, he will wipe his face after the first strike. يَمْسَحُ بِإِحْدَاهُمَا, he will wipe with one of those two, from one of those 2 strikes. وَجْهَهُ, his face. So after placing his hands upon the substance he intends to use for performing tayammum, he will wipe his face, and then he will place his hands upon that substance again the second time, and he will wipe his hands. So يَمْسَحُ بِإِحْدَاهُمَا وَجْهَهُ, after the first strike he will wipe his face after making the intention for tayammum. Okay, so he must make the intention first of attaining purification, so he can make the salah permissible for himself. He will make the intention first, and then he will begin with tayammum. So he will wipe his face after the first strike. وَبِالْأُخْرَى يَدَيْهِ إِلَى الْمِرْفَقَيْنِ, and with the second strike he will wipe his hands, يَدَيْهِ إِلَى الْمِرْفَقَيْنِ, all the way up, including his elbows. So till his elbows, including his elbows. Okay, all of that area of the face that must be washed in wudu must be wiped in tayammum. And if anyone has any bits on his face, he must get rid of those bits, so he is successful in wiping all of the skin of the face. Okay, so no area should be left unwiped. And his arms, likewise, his arms, he must wipe all of his arms from the fingertips all the way up, including the elbows. Okay. And if he's using soil to perform tayammum, after he places his hands upon the soil, it's sunnah to push one's hands forward and then back, and then hit both hands using the outer part of the thumbs, hitting both the outer part of the thumbs with each other to get rid of the soil, and then wiping the face. Okay, so the author states, وَالتَّيَمُّمُ فِي الْجَنَابَةِ وَالْحَدَثِ سَوَاءٌ, tayammum in the state of janaba and hadath, ritual impurity, sawa'un, is equal. meaning the one who is in the state of janaba, the one upon whom ghusl is fard, the major bath, or the one who is in need of performing wudu, he can perform tayammum. Both can perform tayammum. The one upon whom ghusl is fard and the one upon whom wudu is fard. Both are allowed to do tayammum. وَيَجُوزُ التَّيَمُّمُ عِنْدَ أَبِي حَنِيفَةَ. Tayammum is permissible عِنْدَ أَبِي حَنِيفَةَ وَمُحَمَّدٍ, according to Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Muhammad rahimahumullah, بِكُلِّ مَا كَانَ مِنْ جِنْسِ الْأَرْضِ, with everything that is from the genus of the earth, كَالتُّرَابِ, like soil, وَالرَّمْلِ, sand, وَالْحَجَرِ, stone, وَالْجَسِي, gypsum, وَالنُّورَةِ, limestone, وَالْكُحْلِ, kuhl, in Urdu we say surma, وَالزَّرْنِيخِ, arsenic. وقال أبو يوسف رحمه الله, and Imam Abu Yusuf says, لا يجوز إلا بالتراب والرمل خاصة. He says it is not permissible to perform tayammum except with turab, soil, and sand exclusively, khasatan, exclusively. So the rule is anything that doesn't burn or doesn't turn into ashes or doesn't rot after being burned can be used to perform tayammum. Anything after being burned, if it doesn't turn into ashes or if it doesn't rot or turn into ashes, it can be used to perform tayammum. Anything from the genus of the earth. Okay. وَالنِّيَّةُ فَرْضٌ فِي التَّيَمُّمِ. Imam Qudoori states, وَالنِّيَّةُ فَرْضٌ فِي التَّيَمُّمِ. Making an intention, niyyah, is fard in tayammum. Meaning one must make the intention before he performs tayammum that he's going to perform tayammum to attain purification so he can pray namaz, salah. If he doesn't make an intention before performing tayammum, his tayammum will not be valid. For example, if one wants to show his mate how to perform tayammum, his tayammum is not valid, okay? So if one performs tayammum to teach another person, he has no intention of attaining purification or making the salah permissible upon himself, his tayammum will not be valid. وَمُسْتَحَبَّةٌ فِي الْوُضُوءِ, and he states, and it is mustahab in wudu. So if one does not make the intention before wudu, his wudu will still be valid if he performs wudu correctly. But if one doesn't make an intention before performing tayammum and performs the actions of tayammum correctly, his tayammum will not be valid. Okay? So making an intention before tayammum is necessary, and it is not fard before performing wudu. وَيَنْقُضُ التَّيَمُّمَ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ يَنْقُضُ الْوُضُوءَ. And that which nullifies tayammum, everything that nullifies wudu. So everything that nullifies wudu, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ يَنْقُضُ الْوُضُوءَ. Everything that nullifies wudu nullifies tayammum. Okay? Meaning, if one had performed tayammum and he urinated, we will say his tayammum, it has been nullified, he has to perform tayammum again. Okay? So everything that invalidates wudu invalidates tayammum. وَيَنْقُضُهُ أَيْضًا رُؤْيَةُ الْمَاءِ إِذَا قَدَرَ عَلَى إِسْتِعْمَالِهِ. And that also nullifies it. It nullifies it. So that nullifies it also. رُؤْيَةُ الْمَاءِ is seeing the water. So seeing the water also invalidates it. Invalidates tayammum. إِذَا قَدَرَ عَلَى إِسْتِعْمَالِهِ. If he has ability, if he has power, if he has ability على استعماله, upon using the water. So if he is able to use the water. So if one had performed tayammum and he came across water, so much water that he could easily perform wudu. So if one was in need of performing wudu and he had performed tayammum, if he comes across water, so much water, he sees so much water that he could easily fulfill the fard actions of wudu with, his tayammum will become nullified if he is able to use that water. Same with the one who was in need of performing ghusl, the major bath. If he had performed tayammum and he came across so much water that he could perform the fard actions of wudu with, his tayammum will become nullified only if he is able to use the water. For example, one had performed tayammum, he was in need of performing wudu, he couldn't find water, he was a mile or more away from where the water was, and he had performed tayammum. He prayed his salah. After he prayed his salah, he came across a pond. He found water. Okay. Now his tayammum will become nullified. Okay, because he's found so much water that he could easily perform the fard actions with that water. But there's one problem, and that is there's a predatory animal near the water. He has seen so much water that he could easily perform the fard actions of wudu with that water, but he can't use that water. He doesn't have, he's not qadir upon that water. He doesn't have the ability to use that water because there's a predatory animal near the water and he fears for his life. Okay, so he's seen the water, but he doesn't have qudra, he is not qadir upon that water, he can't use that water because he fears for his life. So in this situation, we will not say his tayammum has become nullified. Okay, his tayammum is still valid. But if he's able to use that water, he is qadir upon that water, then we will say he is qadir upon that water, upon using that water, then we will say his tayammum has become nullified. So if the one in the state of hadath asghar, small minor ritual impurity, sees so much water, the one who had performed tayammum whilst being in the state of small minor ritual impurity, if he sees so much water that he could easily fulfill the fard actions of wudu with, using that water, and he is able to use that water, then his tayammum will become nullified. Same with the one who is in the state of hadath akbar, major ritual impurity. If he comes across so much water that he could easily fulfill the fard actions of ghusl with that water, and is also able to use that water, then we will say his tayammum has become nullified. So وَيَنْقُضُهُ أَيْضًا رُؤْيَةُ الْمَاءِ, seeing the water also invalidates tayammum, and the condition for this is إِذَا قَدَرَ عَلَى إِسْتِعْمَالِهِ, seeing the water invalidates tayammum when he is able to use the water, when he is able to use it. وَلَا يَجُوزُ التَّيَمُّمُ إِلَّا بِصَعِيدٍ طَاهِرٍ, and tayammum is not permissible except with pure soil. Okay, so if one had urinated upon the soil and it became dry due to the sunshine, without being washed, one can perform salah upon that soil, but he cannot perform tayammum using that soil. Okay, this is the masala. So if one had urinated upon a soil and that area it dried due to the sunshine, not after being washed, salah can be performed upon that soil, but tayammum cannot be performed. Okay, tayammum cannot be performed. So this is what the author is mentioning. وَلَا يَجُوزُ التَّيَمُّمُ إِلَّا بِصَعِيدٍ طَاهِرٍ. If one wants to perform tayammum upon that soil, using that soil, then he must wash it first. Okay, he must wash it. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ لِمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدِ الْمَاءِ, and it is mustahab. Okay, it is desirable لِمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدِ الْمَاءِ, for that person who does not find water. وَهُوَ يَرْجُو, and he is hopeful, أَنْ يَجِدَهُ, that he will find it فِي آخِرِ الْوَقْتِ, in the final time of the prayer. أَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ الصَّلَاةِ, to delay his prayer إِلَى آخِرِ الْوَقْتِ, till the final time of the prayer. So it is mustahab for one to delay his prayer if he hopes to find water in the final time of the prayer. So it is mustahab for him not to perform tayammum, but to wait till the final time of the prayer if he hopes to find water in the final time of the prayer. It is mustahab, it is not fard. Mustahab means if one does it, he's rewarded. If one doesn't do it, he's not sinful. Okay? But he should not miss his prayer. If the final time arrives and he hasn't found water, he should do wudu, he should do tayammum and pray his salah. So the author states, فَإِنْ وَجَدَ الْمَاءَ, and if he finds water, تَوَضَّعَ, he will perform wudu, وَصَلَّى, and pray, وَإِلَّا, and if not, تَيَمَّمَ, then he will do tayammum. He will perform tayammum. Okay? He can't miss his salah. وَيُصَلِّي بِتَيَمُّمِهِ مَا شَاءَ مِنَ الْفَرَائِضِ وَالنَّوَافِلِ, and he will pray with his tayammum, بِتَيَمُّمِهِ, وَيُصَلِّي, he will pray بِتَيَمُّمِهِ, with his tayammum. Tayammum is on the scale of tafa'ul, bab tafa'ul, tayammum. وَيُصَلِّي بِتَيَمُّمِهِ, and he will pray with his tayammum, مَا شَاءَ مِنَ الْفَرَائِضِ وَالنَّوَافِلِ, that which he wishes, min al-fara'idi, from fard prayers, one nawafili, and nafil prayers. Meaning he can pray as many fard prayers and as many nafil prayers he wishes to pray in the prayer time with his tayammum. Okay? And when the prayer time finishes, he doesn't have to renew his tayammum. He can carry on praying as long as he has not invalidated his wudu. He has not invalidated his tayammum. Okay, and he can pray as many nafil prayers as he wants in the prayer time, as long as it's not the makruh time. So according to Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he says that one can only perform one fard with one tayammum, and as soon as the prayer time finishes, he will have to perform a new tayammum. But Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says one can perform as many prayers as he wants with one tayammum. Okay? And when the new prayer time begins, he doesn't have to renew his tayammum.